We talk a lot about earning and redeeming points, but what does that look like when you put them all together for a real trip?
I just got back from Thailand, and today I am sharing everything about my trip, including flights, activities, and one of my favorite Amex Fine hotels and resort stays ever.
If Thailand's on your list, or if you just want to see how points and miles can turn into a dream vacation, this episode is everything you need. Hey, I'm Chris. Welcome to the Upgraded Points Podcast.
And I'm Katie, and today we are talking all about my trip to Thailand. Before we get to that, don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And if you have questions or comments for us, you can reach us at podcast@upgradedpoints.com. And before we get to my Thailand trip, Chris, I need to hear about what went on your last trip, because it sounds like things did not go as planned.
Yeah, we were actually traveling at the same time, and I was at JFK and I was flying up to Burlington, and I actually ran into Ryan and almost bumped into Carrie. So
I
JFK
saw that.
was busy.
I saw
Yeah,
that.
you were in JFK as well. It was a big,
Like the day
we-
before, I think. Yeah.
yeah, we almost had a meetup unintentionally. I was at JFK for a very long time because I got hit with the government shutdown and weather and Delta maintenance issues. It was just one of those, perfect storm kind of
Triple
days,
threat.
which, yeah, I've been having a lot of those lately, but fortunately, they've been happening when I'm traveling alone, and I'm totally cool with that. It's when it happens with the kids and my wife that it's not as cool. But I was sitting in the Chase Sapphire Lounge. I got in with my priority pass, and my Delta flight to Burlington just kept getting delayed. I was having trouble leaving Buffalo because of weather and then because of maintenance. And then we finally boarded around 9 p.m. It was supposed to be like a 3 p.m. departure. And
Brutal.
that wasn't that late. It was 8 o'clock, but still. And so we get on the plane, and I'm nervous. I'm like, we're gonna get on the runway, and we're like number 20 in line, and I'm afraid the crew's gonna time out. But we take off, and we're flying. I'm flying first class. I'm having a drink. I'm having some snacks. It's great. We're getting close to Burlington, and I'm like, man, this flight is taking a while. And I open up my map, and we're turned around. And then the captain comes on.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
He goes, yeah, sorry, we're having maintenance issues with our de-icer. We can't land. And there's a snowstorm in Burlington, Vermont. And I'm just like, oh, God, how do you fly a plane with a de-icer problem into Vermont? Anyways, but flight had been delayed so many times, and I had family picking me up because I was going to stay with my grandmother because she's 94 and she's alone, and my dad was traveling. It was like a lot of moving parts. So we're flying back, and the Wi-Fi's terrible. So I know Kalini, she's trying to get me rebooked on another flight, trying to make sure my family's going to pick me up in time. Anyways, we land back at JFK, and they're like, okay, the flight's canceled. Great. But when I go to rebook, first of all, my app was bugging out because of the government shutdown. Everything was overloaded. It was just a mess. My wife was on the phone with Delta trying to get me rebooked, but it was still showing me on an active reservation. I was on the plane still. They couldn't put me on another flight. Meanwhile, I got the other people in first class already rebooking. Their app's working, so they're getting on the last flight of the day. So I'm in seat 1A, and I'm like, my only chance is to get to the desk before everyone else. So I just book it off the jetway, and the lines are so long already from other flights that were canceled. They tell me to take a bus to a different terminal. So I do that. As I get to the other terminal, Kalini was like, it's okay. I got you on the flight, the last flight. You're good to go. I had to downgrade you, but it's all good. That's fine with me. So I take the bus back to the other terminal. It was the gate right next to the one I was at. Yeah. I get to Burlington around midnight, and my cousin picks me up. It was fine. It was great. But my luggage didn't make it. Kind of not really a big surprise there. But it did take 36 hours to get there. And
Oh my God, you should have gone to the other side. You should have gone to Thailand.
I know.
In 36 hours.
But it was fine. I mean, me and my grandmother, we went to Target, we did a bunch of shopping, and then I submitted my receipt to Delta, and they paid it in less than 12 hours, $266. Got some, plenty of toiletries and sweatshirts and jeans and underwear and everything I needed that, I didn't have. But it was just one of those, perfect storms. But it all worked out in the end. I got where I needed to be. But if there were some lessons there, it was that, if I were to have waited, for Delta to figure this out on their own, I would not have been in Vermont that night. I got the last seat on the plane, and probably because I was in first class and I don't know. Actually, I don't know if that's true, but I was downgraded into the final seat. And but as I landed in Vermont, I started receiving all the Delta emails about, my voucher for a hotel. I mean, they would have sent me out to Long Island for the night. I would have had to take taxis back and forth to the airport. It just would have been chaotic. So if you have a support system, or just try anything you can, if you need to be rebooked. I was trying in the app, it wasn't working, but I was running to the next desk available, and plus I had my wife trying to figure it out through other means. So it's just one of those things. You just need to really fight for yourself there. Can't really rely on the airlines to take care of you in the best manner. They would have taken care of me eventually, but I'm glad I got to get up to Vermont instead of Long Island.
Oh yeah, much better. Well, I'm glad you made it finally.
Yeah. So that was my trip to New York. I heard you also left through JFK, and it was a little bit smoother, I'm hoping.
I did. I left out of a place that I know you haven't been to, the Capital One Lounge.
Never heard of it.
I really like the Capital One Lounge at JFK, and I finally got to try the cheesemonger in the back because it's been closed every other time that I've been there.
Oh, really?
It was really, really cool. We did a cheese tasting and super fun. And I took a shower in the lounge because we were there for quite a while. So it was a good way to start my trip. Unlike you, all of my all my flights were actually on time. I was expecting disaster because this was still during the shutdown. And so I had backup flights from like Columbus to New York, but we were actually on time. I got upgraded. It was awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, so I was flying from JFK to Frankfurt to Phuket was my itinerary, and I booked this flight on Alaska or with Alaska Atmos points, and it was on Condor Airlines. I was flying in their premium economy. I paid 55,000 miles and $105 for the flight.
All the way from New York to Thailand?
Yeah, I thought that was pretty good for premium economy. Now, I'm going to say premium economy with quotes because Condor's idea of premium economy and my idea of premium economy are not quite the same. So I think I talked about this on an episode prior, but I had heard after I booked the flight, I did some research and realized that Condor's premium economy is not exactly amazing. It is somewhere between like extra legroom economy seating and like an international premium economy, which is not what I was looking for on a flight to the other side of the world. But I went with it. It was obviously fine. Like it wasn't as bad as I was expecting. The seats themselves do have more legroom. You get the little footrest, which as a short girl, that's very helpful for me. And it actually had a surprising amount of recline. So the recline did feel like a true premium economy where it's better than economy. It's nowhere near lie flat, but you can lean back enough to get kind of comfortable to sleep. What I don't like is the width of the seats is exactly the same as economy. It was a 242 in economy and premium economy. There's like not really any distinction between the economy and premium economy seats.
Interesting.
It's a huge cabin. So you don't get I like the international premium economy that I've flown before because it's a smaller cabin. You do feel a little bit it's just got a different vibe. Oh, yes, exactly. And this was not that. It was a big cabin of premium economy that with no distinction between economy and premium economy. So it was just not amazing.
It's like a nice economy extra almost.
Yeah. So was it worth it, the points above economy? 100%. I mean, it made it bearable. I was able to sleep. What really actually helped? We flew JFK to Frankfurt, which is an easy flight, 7 hours. And we stayed up because it was that flight that leaves at like 3 or 4 p.m. So you're not really, by the time you're landing is when you're tired. And then we had a really long layover in Frankfurt, like 9 hours. And what we did, I think, made the next flight very, very bearable. Because we were getting there, it was like 6 a.m. in Frankfurt, but it was going to be body clock time to go to bed. And we didn't want to leave security, get a hotel, because by the time you do that, it cuts out so much.
Yeah. It's
So
a
we
lot.
found these things called nap cabs in the Frankfurt airport. And it is basically just like there were a set of 3 of them. And it's like a tiny little bed in your own little room in like the middle of the airport. And we booked them ahead of time. They happened to be in the same term. My husband did all the research on this, and they were in a couple different terminals, and he like figured out what terminal we were coming into and leaving from. They were in the terminal, so we just got off the plane. We went straight to our nap cab. We had booked them for 7 hours. So I actually went in and was able to sleep because you're in your own space, you're in a bed.
Yeah.
And then you get up and go to your gate. You don't have to go through security or immigration or anything. It was awesome.
That is
So
cool.
it broke those 2 flights up so that, 10-hour flight from Frankfurt to Phuket, well, it was long. It wasn't like you were dying. It was,
Yeah.
you felt like you got up and you slept and you were good.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a huge win, is those nap cabs in Frankfurt. And I'm sure they have those in other airports too. So if you have a huge layover like that, check out.
Did you guys share that?
No, they were like, the bed was tiny. It was,
Oh, so
I
it's
was,
like gotcha.
yeah, because I was saying like, oh, we'll just share one, but it's like smaller than a twin bed. Not enough for 2 people, even if you really like that person. It's just, so we booked separate ones. It was, I want to say like $140 for 7 hours each. I think it was $140 well spent.
Absolutely. If you can,
yeah, it was
because
great.
imagine if like the alternative would be to find. I mean, a best case scenario would be to find a lounge for that period of time. And lounges are great, but if you're exhausted, 7 hours in a lounge could be tough.
And the lounge access was tough on that one. We weren't flying business class. We were flying Condor, which I realized we did have access to the Lufthansa lounge, which we did on the way back. We looked at lounges, we looked at like the hotel on the airport property, and just none of it made sense. And this was perfect. So keep an eye out for something like that if you have that really long layover.
I did the Minute Suites. I did it by myself on a overnight,
and
that was interesting because I don't know if they have like occupancy limits, but there was definitely room. It was a room, so it was a suite. It had a bed and a seating area and a TV, so you could put more than one person in there. So
I have been in Minute Suites before, and this was a lot smaller.
Okay.
This was not a 2-person thing. But yeah, it's a similar concept to Minute Suites, and it's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
All right. All right, so you made it to Phuket. Where did you stay?
We stayed at the JW Marriott, and the prices really on that place are pretty reasonable. I was looking, it was like $300 to $400 per night, or you could book it on points for 54-ish to 74-ish thousand Marriott points per night. I was actually, the Phuket part of this trip was a work incentive trip for my husband, so I didn't actually pay for that hotel.
Even better.
I know, yeah. So, but really reasonable prices. So it's a good option if you have Marriott points or if you're just looking for a reasonable hotel. I mean, thankfully, hotels in Thailand generally are not super expensive. The rooms were very comfortable. I was trying to think of a way to describe the room, and I'm going to call it old-fashioned, but I don't. That sounds probably worse than it was. It was very comfortable. It was a good size, like had everything you need, but it wasn't an ultra modern room. It wasn't, sleek and sophisticated. It was very kind of, rustic maybe. Some of that is because you're in Thailand, and I think that's the look they were going for.
Sure.
Some of it is, I think, parts of the hotel probably could use a bit of a refresh. And I know they were working on some renovations too. I think one of the restaurants. But it could definitely use a little facelift. But still, I really enjoyed it. The resort itself was really nice. There were 3 pools. There was a little turtle rescue right on the property. Pretty small, but you could go over, and they had like handicapped turtles swimming around. There was this one guy, I forget his name. I want to say Speedy maybe. And he had like a shell problem, and I forget what they call it, but it's one where like he's too buoyant, so he can't dive down. So he just like floats in a circle around the top of the, and he was real cute. He was real cute. And then they do actually turtle feedings a couple times a week. So you can go and see them when they feed the turtles. So that was a fun little thing, especially if you're traveling with kids. I'm sure they would enjoy going over to see that. The food was overall really good at the hotel. I was really happy with the food. The breakfast was excellent. It was a buffet breakfast. You know, I don't like buffets, but and it did get crowded toward the like later hours in the morning, but early in the morning, which is great because I was like wide awake at 6 a.m. So we would go early and it was
Thank you,
calm.
jet lag.
Yeah, exactly. And so it wasn't a crazy buffet, but the food was excellent. They had some really good, they had all the like international stuff if you really wanted to get into that. My husband loves eating like non-breakfast food when we're traveling. They had a whole dim sum section. Like I personally just can't get into that stuff for breakfast. I can't. I try. But they had some really amazing like fresh fruit bar with juices and yogurts and everything you could ever want. But they had a French toast station, and it was the JW Signature French Toast. It had its own stand.
Oh, hello.
It was so delicious. It was like bruleed on the outside, so it was crispy, but like soft, and it was like a real thick brioche bread.
Oh, yeah.
And then they had like a mixed berry kind of compote that they had with it that you could put on. It was so good. I ate it every morning, and we were there with like a whole bunch of people that my husband works with. So we knew people at breakfast, or he did. And more than one person would come over and be like, "Hey, have you tried that French toast?" And we'd all talk about the French toast. It was delicious. So food was great. Overall, I really liked the hotel. Like I said, not super fancy, not super modern, but really jungle vibes on the outside, lots of, plants, and you feel like you're in Thailand. The staff was really nice. They have a spa. I did not go to the spa, and I'm usually very big into the spa, but
wow,
they have on the beach little huts set up where you can get massages from like the local Thai ladies. And that's generally not something I'm doing, is getting the public massage. I'm generally like, I'll pay to have the nice fancy room. But it was like $15 for an hour.
Okay. You could be convinced, right?
We went every single day.
No way.
Every day. You just have to get over the fact that you're laying on a mat with like 12 of your best friends, like touching, and it's a little weird.
What is it? It's like a group massage? What is it?
Like they had like, like those gym mats that we would have in school that would like Velcro to the wall. They had like those laying down, and they'd have, 8 people laying next to each other, and then in front, like perpendicular, a couple more.
Wow.
So that was weird.
So they're really like going for volume there.
Okay. Like later in the day, it got very busy. Earlier in the morning, it wasn't so bad. Once you got over the fact that like this is not going to be a massage and a spa, they're all going to be talking to each other. You're going to probably be touching someone that you don't want to touch. You realize like you're still getting a $15 massage for an hour, and that's amazing. And it just felt like the right thing to do. Like it felt very Thai. So I loved it. Absolutely loved it. It was great.
So did you do anything else besides the $15 beach massages?
I did. We had a couple activities. The first one was the one I was really looking forward to. We went to the Phuket Elephant Sanctuary. Okay. And I had heard lots of things, people saying you don't do the things with the elephants because they get treated very poorly. And this one seemed like it was super on the up and up. I mean, I guess you never really know, but we went in and they first have you watch a video about elephant sanctuaries in Thailand and why they are an ethical sanctuary. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it seemed all totally legit. This was, I want to say like 25, 30 acres, and they had 12 rescued elephants. And they take older elephants or ones that are injured, ones that have been working. And so they get those elephants and they come here. They can roam free. Every elephant has their own like caretaker that literally just follows them around all day. Okay. Because they were saying they don't have gates on the outside of their reserve. And so the handler needs to make sure that the elephant doesn't leave. Yeah. And they had like a canopy walkway that you could walk and just like look down on the elephants. It was really cool. We were able to feed them, and that's the only interaction that you get with the elephants. They don't do riding. They don't do the bathing. They don't make the elephants work or, do shows or anything like that. But we were able to feed them fruit, which was really fun. It was really cute to see them up close. I really enjoyed it. It was nice. I think it seemed like a really great place. And it was cool to see the elephants up close and just like walk around on this canopy to see them just chilling and eating. And so that was really fun.
Okay.
We also did an ATV excursion. Ooh. This was something my husband picked. I went along. I've done ATVs before, and I quite enjoyed them. We did them when we were in South Caicos along the beach, and I had a great time. This was not that. This was like extreme ATV through the muddy jungle.
Okay.
With a bunch of people who wanted to go super fast, and like you're going through ditches and mud and like puddles. It was not my speed. So halfway through, they take a break. And as soon as we got back to the break, I was like, I'm done. I'm out. So I sent my husband back with the group to finish the tour. And I stayed back, and it was fine. And he enjoyed himself, and it was great.
Okay. But everyone did their own thing.
It was. And he was happy that I wasn't there anymore. And I was happy that I wasn't there anymore. So everyone was happy. He got to go faster. So
true.
He really
enjoyed
it.
His back complaining.
Yeah. So it was all good though.
Good. All right. Well, let's take this a moment to take a break. And when we get back, I want to hear about this hotel in Bangkok. Okay, welcome back. We're talking about Katie's awesome trip to Thailand, and she finished it off in Bangkok, and she stayed at an incredible hotel. Katie, let's hear about it.
Yeah, so we added a day in Bangkok to this trip on our own. And really, it was all because that's where I found the return flight from. But it worked out really well because I wanted to see more than just Phuket. Yeah. So we took just a quick flight from Phuket to Bangkok. I just paid cash for that. It was like $72 on Thai Airways, credited it to United, no biggie. Nice. I booked the St. Regis Bangkok through Amex Fine Hotels and Resorts, and I was able to use that $300 prepaid hotel credit on the Amex Platinum. After that credit, my out-of-pocket cost was $54.
For a St. Regis.
For a St. Regis, which is just fantastic. I looked at the prices if you were going to, book separately, book with points, and you could book it for like 55 to 66-ish thousand Marriott points. So really reasonable, even, deal, if you're not looking to book in cash or something, a great deal on points. I really enjoyed it. It was a nice location, gorgeous hotel, just loved it. As part of the Fine Hotels and Resorts booking, I got a $100 food and beverage credit, which we used for dinner that night. And I was tired. I had a headache. I just didn't feel like going to a restaurant. So we got room service. They had a really great Thai menu on their room service menu. And it was excellent. Like the food was fantastic. Nice. Mango sticky rice is my favorite thing in the world. And I ate it like every single day. And they had one there. Just so delicious. We loved it. So it was awesome. You're up in this like fancy hotel with the St. Regis robe, getting my free dinner. Loved it. Loved it. Again, breakfast was excellent. It was a buffet. I don't like buffets, but man, the food was good. And this one was actually kind of halfway. It was a buffet, but they had stations that you could go and order something, but you didn't have to stand there with your plate like an idiot and wait. You just told them what table you were at, and they made it and brought it to you.
Wow.
So I really liked that.
How novel.
Now, after the French toast at the JW Marriott, it was a hard shoes to fill, but there was a French toast at the St. Regis.
So now we are a French toast review podcast.
Yeah, we are a French toast podcast now. It was amazing. These are probably two of the best French toasts I've ever had in my life. Again, really thick, like brioche bread. Cooked really well, but then they served it with this like mango and passion fruit sauce. And like it wasn't overly sweet, which is, I don't like it. It was just like sweet French toast drenched in syrup, a la the American way. But it was so good. It was so good. I had an avocado toast that was incredible, which is that's like one of my go-to hotel breakfasts. I only eat it when I'm in a hotel, but it was so good. Tons of fresh fruit, all of the international dishes you could ever want. There's like all the noodles and soups and all kinds of stuff. They had a mango sticky rice station, so of course I had mango sticky rice at breakfast,
Okay.
as
Okay.
one has to do when they're in Thailand. So I really liked the hotel. It was super comfortable. The room was just elegant and beautiful and comfortable. Um, really enjoyed it. Breakfast was included because of the Fine Hotels and Resorts booking, and that also came with a 4 p.m. late checkout. Now, my flight that night wasn't until midnight. And so we talked to the front desk, and they were able to extend my checkout until 5 p.m.
Nice.
So we were able to go around all day. We came back at 5. We checked out, went to the spa, got massages,
Oh
took
my God.
showers in the spa, and then went to the hotel or went to the airport.
That sounds
It
perfect.
was amazing. Also, the price from the spa was incredible. We got 2 90-minute hot stone massages, and like including tip, it was like $350. And if
At the
you've
St.
ever
Regis.
booked that, yeah, at a St. Regis, and you could easily pay that for one.
Yeah, 60-minute.
Yeah, 60 minutes. So the price was great. It was just, and it was such a nice way because it was a really long day. We were trying to get in as much as possible. We only had one day. But then to be able to do that, get the massage, take a shower in the spa, and then head to the airport for a really long travel day. It was just a really nice end to the whole trip. Um, I just, I, I really liked that hotel. It was
That's
just
a
awesome.
Yeah, that's a great tip. Even if you weren't staying at that hotel, but if you have a really late flight, go find a nice
Oh,
hotel or spa and finish your day there, right?
it was wonderful. Especially if you're getting on a really long flight. It just gives you that something to look forward to. You feel refreshed and relaxed before you get on the flight. So you're not,
Hmm.
you're starting at a good place. But
Yeah, I'd say
yeah,
so.
yeah, always get massages, especially when they're really affordable.
Yeah.
But
Um,
the last thing I wanted to mention about the hotel was just the location was maybe about 30 minutes outside of like the old town of Bangkok. But it was in an area where all of the really nice hotels were, so it was a really nice area. I felt totally comfortable. It was fascinating just walking outside and seeing the traffic in Bangkok. It was bananas. I mean, we would have been happy just sitting on the corner and watching, and we
just
kinda did
people
for a while.
watching.
Great people watching. It's, like, maybe a block or 2 away from 2 different malls, and one of them is called, Central World, I think was the name. And it was massive. I think our guide told us, I think it was like the second biggest one in Thailand, like the ninth biggest shopping complex in the world. Just like it dwarfs
Wow,
any
really?
mall. It dwarfs the Mall of America in Minneapolis. Like
What?
you could spend weeks at this place and you still would not hit everything. So it was
That's
totally worth
crazy.
it just to go people watch, try different foods. Just it was fascinating. It was
Okay.
fascinating.
I've never been to Thailand or Bangkok. You want to drop some tips here for me or for our listeners?
Yeah. So, first tip is to download the Grab app. And from what heard, this is used all through Southeast Asia. This was the first time I've used it. But it's primarily for food delivery service and like a ride share. So it's your Uber in Thailand.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And that's what everyone seems to use. That's what we use to and from the airport. And to get to and from Old Town, it works just like Uber. So that was a really great thing to go ahead and download before you get there. Um, and then for our full day in Thailand, we actually hired a private guide. Just 'cause we only had one day. We wanted to see as much as possible. And obviously, we don't speak a word of Thai. Like, so figured the day would go quicker or easier with a guide. So I actually hired a guide on Viator for, I want to say it was like $60 for the day.
Nice.
So she met us at our hotel and basically asked what we wanted to do. She had some ideas of the popular things, which was perfect, and stayed with us the entire day, took us to like the Grand Palace, and I forget the name of the temple with the big reclining Buddha. She took us there, took us on a long tail boat ride, and then, told us where we should eat for lunch. And it was just helped with all of the tickets and translations. And
Nice.
it was so convenient,
That's
so
awesome.
affordable. So definitely especially, maybe if you're there for a few days, do that on the first day to kind of get your bearings, and then you can explore on your own, and which is probably what we would have done had we been there more than just one day. But it was wonderful, and we were able to see as much as possible in 8 or 10 hours that we had to spend there that day. If you are visiting the temples, remember you have to cover your shoulders and your knees. Did not
Okay.
realize that ahead of time.
Okay, I
And
didn't know
so
that.
I didn't have the right outfit. So I brought, because I had shorts to wear that day, I brought the scarf that I always travel with that I mentioned on our
Okay.
travel gear show. And I brought that with me, and my guide said that it wouldn't work, but we got to the temple, and the lady who was checking everyone was like, just wrap that around your waist. And so I just wrapped it
Okay,
around my
cool.
waist, kind of like a sarong, and that was enough. If you forget that, they sell really cheap pants right before you get there, but just know you're gonna have to do that. And then my last bit of advice, if you're visiting Thailand, is make sure you have cash. And I have an ATM card that doesn't charge me anything overseas and refunds anything that I get charged from the overseas ATM, which is super handy. If you don't have that, research what the cheapest ATM is, like we found out that Carrie's husband does. But get some cash out, because you will need it. And I am someone who usually does not travel with cash, and most places you can get by without. But the massages on the beach needed cash. We needed cash for actually a couple of the temples that we went into, or they were cash only. The boat ride was a cash only situation. So it was one place, more so than other places I've been to recently, that you did need cash, and we actually got cash out a couple different times. So just make sure
Okay.
you have some cash on hand. It'll be
Good to
handy.
know. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Wow, that sounds awesome.
I loved Bangkok. I would like to go back and spend some more than just 24 hours there. It was a really cool city.
It's a big big city
It's
for
huge.
just a
Yeah.
one day, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just the
Obviously, we
mall.
didn't see everything, but we got a taste, and I would love to go back.
Good. All right, well, let's hear about your flights home. Did you do premium economy for that flight home or something else?
No, I did business coming home. And this was
Okay.
actually the flight that I booked first. And which is how we ended up adding Bangkok, which worked out great. So I actually booked this also on Condor Airlines through Alaska, from Bangkok to Frankfurt to JFK for 85,000 Atmos points and $141, which I would pay all day long to fly that in business. And it was nice having, if you're doing premium economy one way and business one way, it's really nice to have the business on the way back.
I know.
It gives you something to look forward to,
Yeah.
and it's just, you're not dreading it. So it's like, okay, well, it's going to be a long day, but I'm going to be comfortable, and it's going to be fine.
And was that lie flat on both segments?
Yes. This was lie flat on both segments, which was very handy. The first one left at midnight. So as soon as we took off, I laid my seat down and went to sleep. And Condor gives you a little kind of cover for your seat, which made it a little cozier to sleep in. And they have, I gotta show you the amenity kits. They're really cute. I love a good amenity kit. And they have a whole series of 4 or 5 different designs. So you can get different, this is a little pouch. Then I also got this little pouch. And it's all their stripes, so very good branding. And then this was
Nice,
another
yeah.
one that I got, sort of a wet bag type situation.
Oh, cool.
So it was kind of fun to get different bags on different flights. I get into amenity kits, but
I love it.
the seats are comfortable on Condor. This was the third time I've flown Condor Business this year. The seats are comfortable. I generally find the staff to be pretty friendly. The food is hit or miss. Some things are really questionable, but then there were some things that were really good. So it's, I would be happy to fly Condor again. I think it's a great deal, especially through Alaska with the Atmos points. I found a lot of great deals on Condor. So it's definitely one I would fly again.
Good.
Yeah. So
Awesome.
it was a long trip home. but it was comfy. The business class came in clutch though, because we ended up with an extra suitcase coming home. And I didn't even realize that you could bring 2 roller bags plus a backpack on business class.
Oh,
It just
really?
I never thought to look because
I thought you were talking about check bags.
No,
You're talking about carry-on bags.
carry-ons. So
Okay.
we didn't want to check a bag because we had a short connection in JFK to get like the early flight home. And we ended up with this extra carry-on this trip, and we had no problem. We walked right on to every single flight. With my husband had 2 carry-ons and his backpack. So that was really, really good. Yeah.
What about for your final flight home?
So we were planning on just checking it, which was fine. And we get to the counter, and the girl's like, the flight's not full. It's fine. Just take it on.
Wow. Okay.
I know. So we walked on with 2 carry-ons, with 2 but he had 2 roller bags. I was shocked.
That's crazy.
I mean, we were prepared to check it if we had to, because, by that time we had made the flight, so it was fine. But it worked out great. So it was a great trip.
That's nice.
Yeah, I would love to go back. It's a long way though. It's a long way.
What was the total flight time?
I mean, total travel time each way was in the neighborhood of 36 hours. Like coming home, it was 11 from Bangkok to Frankfurt, and then like 8 from Frankfurt to JFK, something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, they're solid flights. But it's all
that's
good.
awesome.
It's all good.
Well,
and actually, Condor had really good movie selection too, I will say.
Oh.
I usually don't watch the movies on the thing, but they actually had some really good ones. So.
What'd you watch?
Going out, I watched Shawshank Redemption, which was kind of strange.
I would not have guessed that.
No. And then I started on the Mission Impossible movies.
Oh, okay.
I hadn't watched them in years, and so I did those.
Good.
It was all good. It was a good trip.
Well, thank you for that overview of Thailand and Bangkok, and I think I'm gonna have to go start looking for flights.
Yeah, I mean it's really great on points. I mean, the hotels are inexpensive, and especially if you could find these Condor flights, like really a good value, I think, on points. Takes forever to get there, but it's worth it. Okay, well, I think you've probably listened to me talk enough about Thailand. Any questions, or if you have, comments for us, or if you have a question that you'd like to submit for a future episode, or if you have a question about my trip in Thailand, if you're, heading there soon and just want to know more about the hotels or anything, feel free to email us, podcast@upgradedpoints.com. And don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And otherwise, that's going to do it for us this week, and we will talk to you next week.